Hello students, welcome to 8th Standard Science, Term 1, Lesson 2, Force and Pressure, Session 1. Before going to the lesson, I would like to remind you that please maintain a separate notebook and note down all the important points. That will help you to revise the topic again and again and helpful to answer the questions which are given at the end of this session. So, what are the objectives we are going to learn from this lesson? Understand the concept of force and its effects, thrust and pressure, differentiate thrust and pressure, understand pressure and its units, understand the relation between force and pressure. In our daily life, we are doing different kinds of activities which depends on pushing or pulling forces. For example, opening the door or pulling water from a well or pedaling a cycle or sometimes playing a football. All these actions need some pushing or pulling. So that push or pull is nothing but force. If there is no push or pulling, the objects remain in their original state. That means they will not move. Sometimes even though we are not touching also, with the help of air or water currents, the leaves will move, and also the paper boat which is placed on a water body, it will move with the help of water currents. In these two kinds of example also, air also pushing the things by using some force, and also water also pushing the objects. So what make this possible? How this pushing and pulling can work? By seeing this example, we can understand. Riding a bicycle. Whenever you start pedaling that, the bicycle will not move. That means you are pushing that pedals. And whenever you are lifting an object, that means you are pulling the object which is on the land. You are lifting the object. That means you are pulling the object from the land. And opening the door. If you want to open the door, you have to push that door, and if you want to close the door, you have to pull the handle. At the same way, if you want to draw water from the pool, that means you have to pull the water from the well. And also if you want to open a drawer from a table, you need to pull it. And also whenever if you want to put a nail on a door, you have to hit the nail with a hammer. In all these actions, you are using some pushing or pulling forces. These are nothing but force. All the above questions can be answered by saying just one word, which is force. So force is a familiar word in our daily activities. Unknowingly, we are using our pushing and pulling activities in the form of force. So let us take one more example. Look at this picture. In this picture we can see two boys are going to play football. If they want to play the football, first the person has to pass the football to his teammate. How the boy will pass the ball? That means simply by kicking the ball. If that boy is not kicking the ball still remains with the first boy's place. So if they want to play the football, he need to kick the ball. That means he need to push the ball towards his teammate. Let us take another example. Here you can see one boy is standing near a table. He want to move the table from the position A to position B. How he can change the place of the table? By pushing the table from position A to position B. In these two activities, he is using that force by kicking or maybe pushing. So force is nothing but an action of pull or push. In our daily activities, we are using these two kinds of forces, either pulling forces or pushing forces. Definition of force. A force is a pull or push upon an object resulting from the object's interaction with another object. That means if there is no contact with the two objects, the force will not affect. So whenever a person or a thing which pushes or pulling an object, then only the action will done there. So the force is nothing but a push or pull which acts upon an object. The unit of force is Newton. Newton is the unit of force. So what can do by the force? By the force we can change the state of rest, and also we can change the speed of a uniform motion, and also we can change the direction of a moving body, and also we can change the shape of a body by force. So force can do many things. That means it can change a body's resting position to moving position, and also from uniform motion to very fast motion, and also it can change the direction of a moving body and also shape of the body. For example, while we are making the chapati dough, whenever we are pushing that chapati dough, we can make it thin chapatis. That means we are making by using force, we are making the chapatis. And also whenever we are playing the cricket, the bowler will bowl the ball in one direction. Whenever the ball is hit by the batsman, it will move in another direction. And also when we are playing the football in a ground, before you kick the ball is moving slowly from one place to another place. If you use more force, it will go in a very fast manner. At the same way, if you want to put an object in a rest by using the force, fastly moving ball can be stopped by using the force. So force can do many things. It can change the resting position of an object, and also it can change the speed of an object, and it can change the direction of your moving body, and also it can change the shape of the body. Forms of force. Force is in the form of pushing or pulling. Sometimes both pushing and pulling. So we are using different kinds of pulling forces and pushing forces in our daily activities. If you want to change the table place, we need to push the table, and also if you want to get the water from well, we have to pull the water. Sometimes if you want to open the door, and sometimes if you want to close the door, at that time we need to use pushing force and pulling force. Force depends on two things. One is magnitude and the area of contact. Force depends on two things. They are the magnitude and the force of contact. Look at these pictures. You are familiar with these pictures. Whenever you are going to the seashore, for example, if you are standing on a seashore, that means you are applying more force on the sand. That means after some time your shoes will sink deeper in the sand. For example, if you lying on the sand, your feet is simply lying above the sand. Why it happens? Because when you are standing on a sand, the force which is applied on the sand is perpendicular to your position. That means it is acting perpendicularly to the sand. That's why you have more pressure when you are standing on the sand. And also when you are lying, that means the area of the contact is more. So the force is applied on large surface area. So automatically your feet simply lying above the sand. This kind of perpendicular acting of force is called thrust. Thrust is nothing but a force acting perpendicularly on a given surface area of a body. It is measured by the unit Newton. So force or thrust both are equal. So the unit is same, Newton. For example, if you want to put a nail in a bench, you are hammer that in a perpendicular direction. So this kind of hammering or this kind of using force is nothing but thrust. So thrust is nothing but a force which acts in a perpendicular direction. The unit is Newton. So now we are going to discuss about the pressure. Let us take one example. You hold your pencil between your thumb and index finger. So after holding your pencil, you push the pencil in both sides with a equal force. After some time you take out the pencil, you can find that some sign, and on your index finger you feel more pain because you have some deeper groove, and whenever you can see your thumb it is somewhat less pain. Why it happened? Because whenever you keep a pencil with one side having sharp edge and one side having blunt edge, whenever the force is equal but the area of contact is different, so whenever the area of contact is more, the force is less, and whenever the area of contact is less, the force is more. So we can tell that pressure is nothing but the force which is acts on a unit area is called pressure. Let us take another example. You are familiar with this kind of high heel shoes. Whenever you are wearing this kind of high heel shoes, this pointed place sinks deeper into the soft ground than the flat shoes, because whenever you are wearing this high heel shoes, the area is very small. Whenever the area is very small, it applies more pressure, and whenever you are using the flat shoes, the area of contact is more, automatically the pressure will be less. The definition of pressure: the amount of force or thrust acting perpendicularly on a surface area 1 square meter of your body is called pressure. In simply we are telling that the force which acts on an unit area is called pressure. The unit of pressure is Pascal or Newton meter square. Pressure is nothing but the thrust or force applied by a given area. The SI unit of pressure is Pascal. It is named after the French scientist Blaise Pascal, and he was the scientist Blaise Pascal. He only found the pressure. That's why the unit of pressure is named after his name. Pressure depends on two factors: the magnitude of the force and the area of contact. If the magnitude is more and the area is less, so the pressure will become more, and the magnitude is more, the area of contact also more, then the pressure will be less. So in our daily life, pressure plays an important role. Sometimes increasing pressure is helpful and sometimes decreasing pressure is helpful. So how we can decrease the pressure? Let us see. For example, daily you are seeing many heavy lorries carrying heavy goods. Then how that lorries can bear that much of weight? So by using many wheels. Whenever they are using more than 4 wheels, that means the area of contact is more. Automatically that heavy goods will give the less pressure. So they can easily move with the heavy weight. And also you are familiar with this example. You are carrying a heavier bags with more books. No? At the time when you are having the broader stripes, then you can carry the bag easily because the pressure is less. Whenever the area of contact is more on the shoulders, it will give less force. So automatically you are feeling less pressure and also you are comfortable to carry that heavy school bag. And sometimes increasing pressure is very useful. So how can we increase the pressure? It is simply whenever we can reduce the area of the contact, even though we are using a small force also, it is effective. So in this example you can see that a sharp knife having a small sharp edge, and so the area of contact is less, then the small force is enough to increase the pressure. So the knife which having a thin edge, which cuts the vegetables very easily without using more force. And also you can see that saws and chisel, even pins, safety pins, needle having the sharp ends, and this kind of sharp ends are easily precise to the objects. Even though we are using a small force, it will be easily cut the things. And you can see this skating shoes. So this skating shoes is designed with a very small contact area. So whenever the contact area is less, it will give more pressure. With the high pressure, we can easily skate. And also you can see this kind of running spikes. By using this running spikes, they are having very small area. Automatically they are giving large pressure, which is used to run on the track. And applications of low pressure. At the same way, high pressure is sometimes useful, and sometimes the pressure we have to less. Then how we can lower the pressure? You are familiar with this kind of vehicle. This is nothing but bulldozer. Bulldozer having so much of weight. If this much of weight is moving on the road, maybe sometimes it will sink in a soft ground. To avoid that, this kind of wheels having a chains with having some sharp edges between the surface of large area, which decreases the pressure, so it will move easily on the road. And also this kind of skating shoes, we can skate this kind of shoes on the snow skating. Whenever the large surface area, the pressure will be less, so we can easily skate on the snow. And also if you want to build a long buildings, because of the high weight, after some time it may sink. To avoid that, the long buildings having the large surface area, it avoid the sinking in a soft ground. What is atmospheric pressure? We already know that pressure is nothing but a force which acts on an object on a perpendicular area. Then what is the atmospheric pressure? If you want to understand the atmospheric pressure, we have to understand what is atmosphere. So see this picture. In this picture we can see our beautiful earth, and also you can see some small area which is surround the earth, and this surrounding area is nothing but mixture of gases, and this kind of mixture of gases is nothing but atmosphere. Atmosphere contains different kinds of gases: carbon dioxide, oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen, even water vapor. These all kinds of gases having some molecules and some atoms. They also exerting some pressure towards the earth. So this kind of pressure exerted by the atmosphere on the objects of the earth is called atmospheric pressure. We all know that air fills the space around us. This envelope of air is called atmosphere. It extends up to many kilometers above the surface of the earth. All objects on the surface of earth experience the thrust or force due to this atmosphere. That is nothing but atmospheric pressure. So the pressure which is acts downwards towards the earth by the atmosphere is nothing but atmospheric pressure. The amount of force or weight of the atmospheric air that acts downwards on unit surface area of the surface of the earth is known as atmospheric pressure. It can be measured by using a device called barometer. That means with the using barometer we can measure the atmospheric pressure of a given place. Barometer. It was invented by a scientist, Torricelli, and he is the Torricelli. He was the person who invented the barometer first time. He invented barometer with mercury. So it is oftenly called as mercuric barometer. By using the mercuric barometer, we can easily measure the atmospheric pressure. Atmospheric pressure can be measured by the height of the mercury column in a barometer. The height of the mercury column denotes the atmospheric pressure at the place at a given time in a millimeter of mercury. If we tilt the tube at various angles, we will see that the level of mercury column is around 76 centimeters or 760 millimeters. The pressure exerted by this mercury column is considered as the pressure of magnitude. That means 1 atmosphere. So the normal atmospheric pressure is 76 centimeters or 760 millimeters. In normal barometers, they are using mercury. Uses of barometer. Measurement of atmospheric pressure, determining the altitude of a place, weather forecasting, surface weather analysis, preparation of barographs, preparation of aircraft altimeters. Uses of barometers. By using the barometer, we can measure the atmospheric pressure and also we can determine the altitude of a place. That means nothing but the height of a mountains or hills. And weather forecasting and surface weather analysis. Preparation of barographs, preparation of aircraft altimeters. In aeroplanes also they are using barometer to check the altitude of a place. But instead of mercury, that barometers do not contain mercury. They are called as Android barometers. It do not contain any mercury. Exercise. Define force and write its units. Write some daily actions in which force needed. Name some changes that force can do. Write the factors on which force depends. Define trust. What are the uses of pressure in daily life? Who invented the barometer? How can we increase the pressure? What is atmospheric pressure? How we can measure it? What are the uses of barometer? Students, if you have any doubts regarding this session, please note down in your doubts in your notebook and that doubts will be clarified after school reopens. Thank you, students.